A young girl, filled with curiosity and grappling with the harsh realities of life, stands before a judge with a question that's been weighing on her heart. This moment, seemingly small yet profoundly significant, unfolds in a courtroom, packed with the usual suspects of lawyers, clerks, and citizens awaiting their turn to speak. But today, something different is in the air. Amidst the standard cacophony of courtroom sounds, a little girl named Emily approaches the bench. Her voice, tentative yet clear, cuts through the murmur. "Your Honor, can I ask you about God?" The room falls silent. The judge, an experienced man known for his stern demeanor and quick gavel, pauses. His eyes soften as he looks down at Emily, her figure small and unassuming against the imposing backdrop of the courtroom. "Why do you want to know about God in a place like this, young lady?" the judge asks, his tone a mix of curiosity and gentle amusement. Emily's response is simple yet heartfelt. "Because my mommy told me that only God can help us now, and I need to know if he's listening," she says, her eyes scanning the courtroom, as if looking for answers in every corner. The judge takes a deep breath, aware that his next words need to tread a careful line between his role as a judge and the human compassion swelling in his chest. "Well, Emily," he begins, his voice steady and reassuring, "many people believe God is always listening and that he helps those who reach out to him. It's a matter of faith, and it's okay to ask questions and seek understanding, even here in this courtroom." Emily nods, processing his words. "But how do I know he hears me?" she asks, her voice a whisper. The judge leans forward, his hands folded in front of him. "Sometimes we don't get direct answers, Emily, but we find signs in unexpected places, through acts of kindness from others, or when we feel peace in tough times. Many believe these are ways God responds to us." The room remains quiet, hanging on the exchange between the wise judge and the innocent girl. Moved by her genuine quest for understanding, the judge does something unexpected. He steps down from the bench, approaching Emily. "Kneeling to meet her eye level," he continues, "and remember, Emily, you're not alone in your questions. It's okay to seek help from those around you, your family, friends, and even folks like me." His words strike a chord not only with Emily, but with everyone in the room. The barriers of the courtroom dissolve for a moment, replaced by a shared human experience. The judge, no longer just a figure of authority, but a guiding presence, adds, "And no matter how tough things get, try to hold on to hope and keep asking your questions. It's how we learn and grow stronger." As Emily smiles, a tear rolls down her cheek, not of sadness, but of relief and a newfound understanding. She thanks the judge, who nods with a genuine smile, and returns to her seat feeling a little lighter, a little more hopeful. In the end, it wasn't just about the answer to a question. It was about a community coming together in a moment of vulnerability, showing that even in a place governed by laws and logic, there is room for faith, hope, and human connection. This story, unfolding in a city courtroom, reminds us that sometimes the most profound interactions come from the simplest questions, and that everyone, no matter their age or situation, has something to learn, and perhaps more importantly, something to teach. After the heartwarming exchange with the judge, Emily returns to her seat beside her grandmother, who has been her guardian and confidant since her mother's illness became more severe. The grandmother, a woman of strength tempered with the hardships of life, watches the interaction with a mix of pride and relief, knowing how much this moment means to Emily. As the courtroom continues with its daily routine, the story of Emily doesn't just end with her sitting down. Instead, it begins to ripple through those who witnessed the exchange. A lawyer, previously focused solely on his case files, finds himself reflecting on Emily's innocence and the judge's wisdom. Inspired, he decides to take on more pro bono work to help those who, like Emily's family, are struggling against life's harsher realities. Outside the courtroom, the news of the judge's compassionate handling of a child's question spreads. A local journalist, who had come to cover a routine court proceeding, finds a deeper story emerging. She writes a feature article highlighting the power of empathy in the justice system, using Emily's story as a central theme. The article soon makes its way into a popular city newspaper, sparking conversations about faith, the role of the judiciary, and community support in unexpected places. Meanwhile, Emily's question and the judge's response begin to change things in more personal ways. The judge himself starts to volunteer at a community center, dedicating some of his time to help educate young children about the law, justice, and the importance of asking questions, no matter how daunting they may seem. Emily's school, upon hearing about her bold question in court, initiates a new program focused on civic education and critical thinking. Emily becomes the face of the program, encouraged by her teachers and peers to share her thoughts and continue her quest for answers. This newfound role gives her a sense of purpose and belonging, helping her cope with her mother's illness and the responsibilities thrust upon her young shoulders. As the seasons change, the community around Emily starts to embody the change initiated by her simple yet profound question. Acts of kindness become more frequent. Discussions about faith and personal beliefs are met with openness rather than judgment, and Emily finds herself at the heart of a community, learning to listen more attentively. Emily's relationship with her grandmother strengthens as they navigate their challenging reality with newfound hope. The grandmother, inspired by the judge's words and the community's response, finds ways to contribute to the local community center, sharing her own life lessons and wisdom. Through all these changes, Emily learns that her voice matters, that even a child's curiosity can inspire adults to reflect, act, and embrace compassion. She continues to ask questions, each one leading her to new understandings and deeper connections with those around her. In this way, Emily's journey illustrates that the search for meaning and the quest for answers are not just acts of personal faith, but are also the bridges that connect us, fostering a community built on understanding and mutual respect. As Emily becomes more engaged with her school's new civic education program, she also starts to see the impact of her actions beyond the academic environment. The feature article written about her continues to circulate, reaching a wider audience and inspiring various community groups to host forums discussing the role of faith and empathy in public services. Emily, though young, is invited to some of these forums to speak about her experience, which she does with a mixture of nervousness and excitement. Her story, coupled with the judge's actions, turns into a catalyst for a citywide initiative to incorporate emotional and social learning into the curriculum of public schools. Teachers and administrators work together to create lesson plans that include discussions about moral questions and the importance of community involvement. Emily's school principal proudly shares the progress at school board meetings, highlighting Emily's bravery and curiosity as the spark that ignited these changes. Meanwhile, back at home, Emily's mother begins to show signs of improvement. The community's support, spurred by Emily's story, extends to her family in practical ways. Neighbors organize to provide meals and help with household chores, allowing Emily and her grandmother to spend more quality time with her mother. This support not only eases their daily burdens, but also strengthens the bond between Emily and her family. One evening, as they sit together in their small but cozy living room, Emily's mother expresses her gratitude for the love and help they have received. "You know, Emily," she says, her voice stronger than it has been in months, "your question about God and the judge's response didn't just help you, it helped all of us. It reminded our community that we're not alone in our struggles." Encouraged by her mother's words and the tangible effects of her actions, Emily continues to engage with her community. She participates in local charity events and becomes a junior ambassador for a program aimed at helping other children who face similar challenges. Her enthusiasm and genuine desire to make a difference make her a beloved figure in the community. The judge, too, keeps track of Emily and her family's progress, often using their story as an example in his speeches and writings about the importance of judicial empathy. His career takes a turn towards advocacy for community-oriented justice, inspired by the profound effect a simple act of understanding can have on a person's life. As the story of the little girl who asked a judge about God becomes a legend in the community, It serves as a reminder of the power of innocence and the impact of compassionate leadership. The changes initiated by Emily's question bring about a newfound sense of unity and purpose among those who were touched by the story. The community learns that while the law can govern society's actions, empathy and understanding are what truly guide human hearts. Years later, Emily looks back at that day in the courtroom as the moment her life changed not just for her, but for everyone around her. It wasn't just about finding God in a courtroom. It was about discovering the divine in everyday acts of kindness and human connections. This realization, simple yet profound, continues to inspire and shape her as she grows into a thoughtful and engaged young woman, determined to keep asking questions and finding answers in the hope and humanity that unite us all. Emily's influence continues to grow as she matures into a confident and articulate young woman. With the foundation laid during her formative years, she pursues studies in social work, driven by a desire to facilitate community engagement and support systems for those in need. Her university experience is enriched with internships at local non-profits and government agencies, where she applies her personal history and academic knowledge to real-world challenges. Her reputation as a speaker and advocate for empathy in public service leads to opportunities to collaborate with civic leaders and policymakers. She organizes workshops and panels that focus on integrating empathy into public administration, believing that the personal touch she experienced in the courtroom should be a universal approach in all public interactions. As Emily's efforts gain momentum, her initiatives start to receive national attention. She is invited to speak at conferences and symposiums across the country, where she shares her story and the lessons learned from the pivotal courtroom encounter. Her message resonates with a wide audience, sparking a movement that advocates for policies promoting emotional intelligence and community-focused justice. Back in her hometown, the community center where the judge once volunteered becomes a beacon for these new initiatives. Named in honor of Emily's contributions, the center expands its services to include free legal aid, counseling, and educational programs designed to empower residents. The center's success story is featured in various national media outlets, highlighting how a single question from a young girl ignited a transformative community effort. Emily's personal life flourishes alongside her professional achievements. She finds joy and support in her family, who are proud of the compassionate leader she has become. Her relationship with her mother, now fully recovered and actively participating in community services, brings them even closer. They often speak at events together, sharing their journey and the impact of communal support on their family's healing process. The judge, now retired, remains a mentor and friend to Emily. He watches with pride as the seed he helped plant in the mind of a curious, brave little girl grows into a nationwide movement toward compassionate governance. His reflections on their first meeting are included in his memoirs, which devote a chapter to Emily and the profound lessons learned from her simple, yet profound question about God. As years pass, Emily's story becomes a case study in textbooks and a reference point in discussions about the intersection of justice, empathy, and community service. Her unwavering commitment to these principles inspires the next generation of leaders, much like the judge once inspired her. Her journey comes full circle when she returns to her alma mater to teach, passing on her knowledge and experiences to students eager to make their own mark on the world. In every lecture, every meeting, and every community event, Emily continues to emphasize the importance of nurturing human connections and understanding in all facets of life. Her story, rooted in a courtroom question, remains a powerful testament to the fact that even the smallest voices can provoke significant change, and that true leadership is about fostering empathy and inclusivity in every interaction. As she often reminds her audiences, it's not just about answering the questions posed to us. It's about listening to the questions that go unasked and finding the heart to respond. Emily's teachings and public engagements plant the seeds of a new cultural shift towards empathy-driven governance. Her messages about the power of personal connection and communal care resonate deeply with a society yearning for a softer, more compassionate leadership style. Across cities and towns, Leaders begin to adopt Emily's approach, integrating emotional intelligence training into their staff development programs and re-evaluating policies to focus more on human impact than procedural efficiency. One of Emily's most significant projects involves partnering with local schools to develop a curriculum that incorporates empathy and ethical decision-making from an early age. She believes that nurturing these values in young minds is crucial for long-term societal change. The program becomes a model for educational reform, and school districts nationwide express interest in adopting the curriculum. Emily works tirelessly, alongside educators and psychologists, to tailor the lessons to various age groups, ensuring that the concepts of kindness, understanding, and community support are woven into the fabric of children's daily learning. The ripple effect of Emily's influence reaches the legislative level, where a few inspired lawmakers propose bills that prioritize mental health resources, community building, and support systems for vulnerable populations. These bills, known informally as Emily's Laws, aim to ensure that the ethos of care and support she champions is reflected in the nation's laws and practices. Meanwhile, at the community center named after her, a new initiative takes shape, a storytelling project that allows people from different backgrounds to share their experiences and challenges. This project not only fosters a greater sense of community, but also provides Emily with new insights into the ever-evolving needs of society. She uses these stories to advocate more effectively for policies that address real-world problems, emphasizing that behind every statistic are individuals with hopes, fears, and dreams. Emily's personal journey of influence also continues to evolve. She writes a book detailing her experiences and the profound impact of her courthouse question. The book is a bestseller, widely used in academic courses and cited as an inspiration by other social activists. It tells a story of growth, resilience, and the power of a single moment to catalyze a movement. As she travels to promote her book and speak at various events, Emily remains grounded by her family's support and the community that first embraced her message. Her story comes full circle when she returns to the very courtroom where she once stood as a child. There, she speaks not just as a guest, but as a keynote speaker at a conference on judicial reform, sharing the stage with a judge who once answered her youthful inquiry. In her speech, Emily reflects on the journey that began with a simple, heartfelt question. She emphasizes that the essence of true leadership lies in the willingness to listen, the courage to act compassionately, and the vision to see beyond the immediate. As we move forward, she concludes, let us remember that our actions create ripples, and from a single ripple can come a wave of change. Let's be bold, let's be kind, and let's be the leaders who ask, how can I help? Her story, a blend of personal and public triumphs, continues to inspire not just those struggling with hardships, but also those in positions of power, reminding everyone that at the heart of all progress is the human connection, the very essence of empathy and understanding.